nimbleness is nothing like any bike I've been on for cruiser line. I don't think I'm gonna enjoy going back to my Iron 83. Wow, the throttle response on this is super smooth. You know, I can see why people on sport bikes or naked bikes tend to get speeding tickets. I feel like it is slightly higher. All the experienced riders watching this is probably cringing so fucking hard. It's what it's like when you have a beginner rider on a naked bike. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the KS Moto Cafe. There's a local Vancouver Island motorcycle rental company that specializes in Ducati called the Sol Paradiso X, and Brandon, who is the founder of the company, has graciously invited me to check out one of his Ducatis. So this is my first time trying one of the Ducatis. I'm looking at the Monster 821, which is considered a roadster or a naked bike, but it's got 110 horsepower, so it's got some kick-ass power from what I've seen. So we'll see what that goes like. I will be doing my first ride impressions, and as well as whether I recommend that bike to beginners like myself, or if it should be safe for someone who has a little bit more experience on riding motorcycles. So let's see how that goes, especially coming from a cruiser line. So if you haven't subscribed yet, click that subscribe button and help me out and support this channel. There it is on my left. What's going on? Hey! What's going on, Twisted Adventure? Oh man, this is cool.
Yeah, the biggest thing I'd say, the difference between yours and this is just, you know, the balancing.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to feel different around corners, so just be aware of it.
Okay.
Other than that, man, right on.
All right. Thanks very much.
Thank you. We'll see you soon.
Oh, Jesus. So guys, this is my first time trying on a naked sport bike here. Ducati Monster. I always loved the brand Ducati. Other than my Harley Davidson, Ducati's always been kind of my second favorite type of brand that I always associated motorcycles with. The only reason I didn't really look for the Ducati was it's very sports oriented. So for me, I wanted more of a comfort, which is a cruiser line. But if I was looking for a sport bike, I always wanted to go check out a Ducati. And thanks to our local Ducati rental place called Sol Paradiso X Motors, run by Brandon, who is the founder, he has allowed me to take out any of his Ducatis for a spin just because he's a fan of the channel, and as well as allowing new riders to try out different bikes that they're not really comfortable with to begin with in a very safe setting. And he also offers tours and track days for any skill set of riders who want to ride on a Ducati or try on a sport bike like myself. So he ran me through some of the instructions of how to run this bike, and I'm just going to go through it myself as well, just so we're practice. Like always, I will go around the parking plots left and right here just to get a feel of the clutch system, and we'll see where it goes here. So as I get onto the bike here, it is feeling a little bit like the Roadster that I rode, which is about 31 inches of seat height. So I have 30-inch inseams. I'm more comfortable tiptoeing on it. So because my motorcycle is a fob, I never really have to play around with the key here, but this one comes with the key and ignition switch. So let's try turning it on. So the key turn is in the middle. Doop. There you go. Cool Ducati sign comes up. Now you're on battery power. As you can see, it's got the TFT display. It's a lot smaller than I imagined. From this really sunny light, I can actually see the display really well. It's really clear. So starting with the controls on the left, we got high beam, low beam. You got your signal switch right, signal switch left, and then press to cancel the switch. And then we got the enter button. And you press it hard enough, you get this option where you got the Sport ABS 1, you got the Ducati traction control of 3, and then engine high, which gives you the best amount of horsepower. In touring, we got ABS 2, DTC 4, and then you got the Urban, which has the most lowest setting. I think it's about, 80 horsepower. And then to enter that, you got to hold on to enter. There you go. Now I'm in Urban, I got ABS 3, DTC 6. As a beginner, I'm going to start out with the Urban, and then we'll move on up to hopefully Sport to feel what this Ducati bike has to offer. So on the right side of the control, all you have is hazard light and ignition on. It is a 6-speed chain-driven bike, so we'll see how that goes for a cruiser rider like me. In terms of the rider triangle here, my leg is bent more than 90 degrees. It is hugging this nice fuel tank where it kind of has an indent for your knee, so that feels really nice. Look at that. It's got the RPM all the way up to 11,000. Jesus. So yeah, I'm a little nervous, but you know what? Let's have fun. So let's see how that works. Oh, sounds pretty good. Okay, so we'll put the kickstand up. We're on gear 1. Let's see what this feels like. Whoa. So the clutch engages like really quickly. So it's like as soon as I let go, it's boom, gone. Oh. Okay. So I'm on gear 1. Oh yeah, sweet. Let's see if I can change some gears. That's pretty good. I mean, my response time on this is pretty novice. Gotta work on my lean angle. Wow, the brake catches really well. Okay, let's try practicing a little bit more on slow turns. Okay, yeah, Jesus. The nimbleness is nothing like any bike I've been on for a cruiser line. So, something that I'm trying to get used to right now is the clutch system. I can't really hear that clunk that the Harley Davidson has for changing of gears. Alright, so what I'm going to do is park the bike, put it on neutral. There we go. And then shut the engine off. And we'll change out the batteries and go for a little rip.
5 minutes later.
Put on my summer gloves on because it's about 20 degrees outside and it's freaking hot. So going around the parking lot here was absolutely a learning experience on this naked bike. Definitely I got a feel of how the clutch system works and how responsive the brakes are. It's so nice to have such a bike that has good brakes. The Brembo brakes are awesome. So let's turn the engine on and we'll go around the same routes that I do for any of my reviews around this area. And then hopefully we'll get on the highway to see what it's like. Turns on. We're on urban setting. Okay, here we go. Oop. Oh man, so as you saw, I was very crappy at the start there because I'm not really used to this clutch. The angle of the foot is quite different and I'm trying to figure out the gear ratio as I ride. But so far, in terms of ride comfort, I feel very confident on it. It's very upright and I love the fact that I'm just hugging this tank engine. It feels like I can really give it a good twist and turns. One thing I'm not really used to is turn signals because Harley just has really nice big fat buttons on the left and the right and it's self-canceling. So right now I'm on 3rd gear, about cruising 50 kilometers per hour. I was on 2nd gear, but it seemed like it wanted to be changed to 3rd gear for this. I'm very high up. I can definitely see a lot more of my vision here, but I'm not hunched over, so my lower back isn't really feeling bad at all, which is kind of the difference between a sport bike and a naked bike, where the naked bike is upright riding. You can be on the bike a little bit longer and still be comfortable, whereas sport bike, you're at a lower angle and you got a big fairing that's blocking you from the high speed of the wind. The downshift feels pretty good. Yeah, I love these Brembo dual disc front brakes. It grabs on like right away. Speed bumps feel all right. Okay, let's turn the signal. I gotta remember to cancel that signal because it's not self-canceling. Woo! That's what it feels like to be on a Ducati. I am pleasantly surprised. Coming from a cruiser line, like, this is very comfortable. Like, I'm still slightly nervous, but it's not like scary nervous. This is like a good focus stressor that I have right now, that I'm more vigilant on the road and making sure that I understand this bike before I take it a little bit more aggressively, like the way it likes. So I can't really call this a review because I don't have any experience in riding a sport bike or a naked bike. So it's more of an impression from a beginner and as well as a cruiser rider. First impression right now, as I just kind of went on the city roads, moving up to the third gear, I'm very comfortable on it. It's really nice. The power delivery isn't crazy because I'm on urban setting. Now, what I was told is that if I move it up to all the way to sports mode, the power delivery is a lot more aggressive, so you can definitely pop a wheelie if you don't respect that throttle handle. Now, if I pick this up as my first bike, I think I might be a little bit in more trouble because I haven't come to respect the throttle when I first started out riding, because naturally you just don't know how to handle a bike. But if you have a really good coach who can teach you how to ride a bike and you're supervised properly, I can't see why this can't be your first bike. Now, the power delivery on this motorcycle is very responsive, but it's no different than my Iron 883 is. I mean, it goes faster. There's a lot more acceleration than my 883, even on this urban mode, but it's not jumpy. Like, I don't feel like I'm gonna be thrown off. The nimbleness is like cutting through butter with a hot knife. I don't think I'm gonna enjoy going back to my Iron 883 doing lean actions like that because it's so nice. Now, I'm starting to feel a lot of heat on my right leg in the calves, and I assume that is the exhaust that's being pushed. Maybe I'm sitting it a little bit wrong. There's my Harley crew. Sorry guys, I am not riding a Harley right now. Alright, before I get on the highway, I'm going to do a little bit more city riding because I'm not really confident yet. I can see that there's a lot less spiker waves coming onto this Ducati from cruisers compared to when I ride my Iron 883. Let's go here. See what a U-turn feels like. Wow, it's really tight. The turning radius is really tight. I like it. All the experienced riders watching this is probably cringing so fucking hard. Sorry guys. It's what it's like when you have a beginner rider on a naked bike who also came from a cruiser line. Alright, let's see if I can change this to touring. Alright, because from what I heard, touring is a little bit more responsive. Oh yeah, I can definitely feel it more responsive for sure. And I think I'm more comfortable with it. Ooh, it's so hot right now. I'm not looking forward to see what it feels like when it's like 30 degrees. Definitely need a new wardrobe. Oh yeah. Now this feels like a sport bike. Fuck yes. On the highway now. Oh, the mirrors are nice. Holy shit. Oh fuck. Yeah. Oh wow. Picks up like nothing. Yes, 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 yes. Holy. Wow, the throttle response on this is super smooth. And the acceleration isn't crazy. It's just pure fun. Oh man. You know, I can see why people on sport bikes or naked bikes tend to get speeding tickets, because it's not really fun going slow speeds on this bike. Now, one thing I am cautious about right now is that my exhaust sound is not as loud as my Iron 883. I can already tell that there's a lot of drivers out here that don't tend to notice that I'm right behind them or beside them. I gotta be a little bit more cautious about that. Make it a little bit more defensive riding, which means I gotta protect my position 3. Oh boy. Now, there isn't much or any wind protection on this motorcycle, hence why it's naked. There's no fairing, there is no side fairing. It feels a lot like my Iron 883, where everything's hitting you on the arms to your chest to your head. But it's kind of nice. I like that feel because I feel like I'm one with the road. A little bit of a blip, downshift. Yeah, we got to get back on that highway. That was super fun. Let's try that again, yeah? So if you're watching this and you thought I was only riding cruisers, you are now wrong. I have now experience on Ducati Monster 821, which is a naked sport bike. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please click that subscribe button because I am willing to risk my life doing things like this for you. Not that you guys asked for it, it's just, you know, it's nice to have. And as well, if you're in the Vancouver Island area or you want to come over to Vancouver Island area to meet me, check out Sol Paradiso X Motors. They will hook you up with the Ducati, man. Yeah, no problem at all passing any of these cars. Like, the throttle response is right there. Now, as a beginner rider, I'm not going to try the sport mode, to be honest, because this touring mode is giving me all the juice that I want and I feel comfortable with. As I mentioned earlier, can this be my first ever bike? Not alone. No way. I would not pick up this bike as a first bike alone. But if I had a buddy who's really experienced in motorcycling and will supervise me on riding and teach me all the ins and outs, absolutely. Because that urban mode setting that this bike had was definitely tame. A lot tamer than the touring mode. But once you get the feel and the confidence up, oh Jesus, this is fun. I'm completely smiling from ear to ear right now. Like, I'm not sure what cruiser can give me this type of acceleration feel. Maybe the V-Rod, but the riding position of a V-Rod is a lot different than what I'm doing right now. And to be honest, when I first thought about riding this Monster, I thought my legs would feel a lot more cramped, especially with my feet sitting behind my knees. But it's really comfortable. And I think it's because I'm hugging the fuel tank with my knees. And it allows for this ride to be a lot more comfortable. This is going to make me want a naked bike as a second motorcycle, which is great. Yeah, this Brembo brakes are very nice. I like it. Whoa. Oh, it's not the exhaust that's giving me the heat. It's the engine itself. Am I touching anything? Nope. So I can't list off all the exact stats of this Monster 821, which is a 2018 version, so I'll just link it in my description, as well as put up a little picture icon that lists out all the details that you need for this motorcycle. Now it's time for me to do a side-by-side with my Iron 883. Woo! Jesus. Okay. So on the left is my Harley Iron 883 from 2020, and then on the right is the Ducati 2018 Monster 821 that I just got the privilege to have a little impressionable ride. I can tell you right now, going from the first ride of the 821 and then hopping on to my 883 just to bring this bike over, completely different feel. Like, I felt so low to the ground for my 883 compared to what I was riding on the 821, which is a lot higher. And I gotta be frank, I was more comfortable on the Monster than the 883 for the seat height. I'm very surprised by that. So let's do a couple shots of what I do always for my bike reviews or impressions. All right, so as I come into the shot here, I'm 5'10", 30 inches of inseam. This is my Iron 883 from 2020. As I sit on my cruiser style motorcycle here, as you can tell that I'm very comfortable with the good bend on my knee, so I can flat foot this bike quite easily. And then when I'm riding on my bike here, which is a mid control, you can see my rider triangle is very upright where my foot to my handlebar to my ass. It's a very nice right triangle, which is a 90 degree, and very comfortable on the roads. For a beginner bike, this is definitely something that you want to look for. Now, once I move over to the Ducati Monster 821, which definitely has a higher seat, for a 30-inch inseam without the shoes, I feel like it is slightly higher. It kind of felt like a little bit more like the Roadster that I was on, maybe even a little bit higher. But once I put like my 190-pound weight on it, I can barely flat foot it. But I can tell you on my ride, it felt really comfortable. And As you can tell, because it's a little bit more sportier, the foot pegs on this is behind my knee. And the rider triangle is slightly forward, but when I was riding, I was upright. So my back felt really good. And because I'm upright like this and my legs were in the rear, I had a really good control of the bike itself, and I was really happy with it. The handlebars are very similar to the Iron, where it's up and pulled back just a bit. But to be honest, after riding it around for an hour or so, I'm sold. Like, this is a really good bike. As a beginner rider who is similar to my height standards, I would say definitely a good bike to start out with. So what are my first impressions of the Monster 821 after that 1 hour ride? Well, it was exciting. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a much better experience than I anticipated. I knew it was going to be a faster bike than any of the Harleys that I've ridden already, but I did not expect the comfort level to be that high. The handling of the 821 was definitely in my range of skill sets. If I had to choose a second motorcycle today, I would definitely look into the Monster 821 or in that category of the engine size rather than going to less than 400cc sport bike, only because I now have a bit more experience on how to handle a motorcycle. And I think that if I go down to a less than 400cc sport bike or naked sport bike, I think I'll be just underwhelmed by its power level. But let's reverse the time when I first got my motorcycle license. I would probably say at that time the Monster would have been a little bit too much to handle, because I really didn't have a supervisor or a close friend near me to run me through a motorcycle side by side. So in a sense, I'm glad the progress that I took from with zero experience to a cruiser line that is a beginner size, which is about an 800cc motorcycle, and then after a while jumping into a different type of motorcycle, eventually going into the sport naked bike category and potentially going maybe 600 to 700cc sport motorcycle. But in a nutshell, like I said, this was a very good experience. I want to thank Brandon from Sol Paradiso X Motors, who have given me the opportunity to ride this motorcycle. He did invite me back to try out his Panigale V4, which is a monster of a sport bike. But after watching numerous iterations of my first impression video on the Ducati 821, I realized I need a lot more experience to fully enjoy this category of the motorcycle. So Brandon, if you're watching this, I will take up on your offer and try out all your other Ducatis, but just give me some time to develop some skills, and that way I would provide a better impression and review to the audience that's watching this. So for everyone else, comment below if you like this type of impression videos, because I really do want to try different types of motorcycle and experience in the motorcycle world. I will eventually go on the track as well once I develop a bit more skills on taking on the corners. And in the end, it's all about just having fun, and I'm definitely having that. If you haven't subscribed yet, please click that subscribe button. And as always, ride safe, ride prepared, and ride on. Peace.